Now, Josh, I want to make a huge claim here that is based on very little, and I could be wrong, and I hope I'm
All right, bet.
But I think that Halo Infinite is going to be a story that, I'm not saying Chief retires or dies, but it's going to more or less be Chief's last story, Chief's ending, and the future of Halo is going to be in a very Destiny Guardians-esque style of your Spartan, and your friend Spartans being the heroes of the Halo universe. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's what this is saying. And I'm making a big stretch.
I hope you're wrong, because
I don't
feel
like that.
They made that very clear after the reception of 5 that they weren't retiring Chief. But at the same time, I'm kind of with you in some ways. This almost seems like, and again, totally conspiracy theory, totally throwing speculation at the wall here and seeing what sticks, right? This totally feels like what Halo Reach's campaign was. Like, maybe Infinite could, like, their next sort of campaign, whether big or small sized, could be like featuring your Spartan in a Reached a type experience where they don't really say much, but the story is very much of your character going through that type of stuff, or something to that effect.
And maybe like what Josh is saying is true, where all the continued campaigns that come after Infinite's main campaign, you play as your Spartan, and maybe you even interact with Chief in the campaign.
We'll see if they did that. It is a very easy way to still pump out that content, because you're not having to get any of the main voice actors potentially, in those roles, and maybe rotate in some of the more minor ones. Maybe get Palmer in there, maybe get Lasky, maybe get even Hood, whatever you can think of, but like just get some people in there and get a way to feature them more, or something to that effect, so that way you still have some familiarity and some nostalgia.
And there could still be whatever mainline Halo game comes after Infinite, which is a long way away, that could still be Chief again. You never know. Yeah,
and that's what I hope. I hope we do come back to getting to play as Chief, but at the same time, there's another part of me that's like, okay, hypothetically, if you're going to do in 10 years, you want to do a next Halo, you want to move on to a next Halo. If I knew right now, if 343 said, that is our plan, we're going to spend like 10-ish years, we're going to try to spend around that time doing this stuff, pumping out content, right, for you guys, but we are going to do another Halo, okay? I'd be like, cool. Then, if your plan was for these 10 years to be about my Spartan's journey in a narrative structure, I'm fine with that, knowing that I'll still get to play as Chief again. But I don't know if that's realistic at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I hate to go to say this, but like, Steve Downs is not going to be alive forever, and even if he lives to be 100 years old, he's not going to want to be voice recording.
It's just gonna, that's gonna be mixed if they really do retire Chief, whether he dies or not. Like, even if it is so well done,
you'd be happy if he died or retired in this game. Do you think there's any way they could do it?
No, just because I hate to say that I'm this kind of person, but like, I stuck to, like, Frank, I think it was Frankie's word that basically said, like, we're not going to retire Chief or whatever, the next game will be all about him and all that kind of stuff. Like, I know that things change in life and people grow and people learn different things every day. We wake up a completely different person in some ways, but at the same time, when you're running a business, when you're an employee, at working at a company, and you're putting out products for people to consume, you become men and women of your word. So I don't think they would do that, but I don't know. It almost feels like they could.
What if he didn't retire or die, but it was clear they were done telling the story? Like, what if he
still bothered?
Yeah, like,
I would rather play as Chief any day.
I'm with you, dude.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I just, don't get me wrong. I would want to have other experiences, but like, I don't know. At the same time, you do got to have an end somewhere. And Infinite, I don't want it. I just don't want the narrative to be like Chief is kind of the protagonist to kind of guide you into this new era, which it seems like all the wording is applying to.
Yeah.
As they put you now in the shoes of your Spartan, and as we move your Spartan, say, hey, you can do them in multiplayer, move them into multiplayer. Doesn't it sound like that's what's happening? I'm
getting the vibe that your Spartans are going to be the Guardians from Destiny. Like, this is your Guardian, this is your Spartan, and now you are the character in this world.
See, I mean, big problem with that, because something like Mass Effect, for example, the reason being that I bring that up is because if you could try to read some of the Mass Effect books and they mention Shepard, you have so little mention of Shepard, and Shepard is so ambiguous as to the gender, the decisions that Shepard has done. It's more just the more railroady type stuff, so to speak, that you experience as Shepard that they can really pull from. And that could be potentially difficult in lore moving forward when they're trying to cover events that maybe your Spartan character or your Spartan and your friends go through. Brian, what's up? You want to say something?
Well, if they handle the lore and story the exact same way as Destiny, it won't be. But I don't want that for Halo.
No, I don't either.
Because in Destiny, they handle all the story and lore with...
No, that's what bothers me. Okay, now I love Destiny 2, but like one time, Brian, I got on Destiny 2 one day, and one of this new raid that had been out got completed by a group of people, like the world's first thing, and they had like a sort of a just a kind of an image like a couple images mixed with some narration talking about the Guardians who went there and did it. And I'm like, thanks, fuck me. I'm like, that's I'm not even that player, and this is supposed to feel like my story. I know that other people are doing this, but it's supposed to feel like my Guardian and my fire team story. And you're telling me that someone else already did it. It's like, thanks. You know, like I don't want Infinite. I don't want 343 to make Halo Destiny. Let Halo be Halo.
Say, and they're right next to Bungie, you know, like they.
But I say all this, and I have so much trepidation. But I'm also like, I just need to play it to experience it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going in with a fresh mind, but I'm scared.
Like I've said many times, I said in the Discord like yesterday, you know, the Halo. I'm here because of my nostalgia for the original Halos. It doesn't matter what they do with Infinite, dude. I'm still here. Like I'm still.
Well, this is for the next generation, and you know.
Yeah.
I'm all for that because it's going to bring new people in. And you know what? However they want to do it, I'm going to have a great time. I'm open to all of it, even if there's aspects I like more than others and stuff like that. I didn't even play the damn game, so I got to see how it works off fundamentally.